All right, guys, what's up? It's Frank here with the quarterfinals of the Aureil Stormgate Invitational, second edition, and it's going to be Aureil himself versus Control. There's Control, the Infernal player, and here's Aureil, our Celestial player, who's doing something sneaky with his Arc ship. We're gonna see the Hexen just showing up to the main, trying to see. It's like, okay, doesn't see anything. Mining Therium. Gonna scout this. Yep, does scout this array, and then he's just going to teleport on home. Meanwhile, an imp is going to come through the middle of Titan's Causeway here and open up a path to the center, but not going to throw down a meat farm just yet. Actually, I wonder if that's the plan right here, is to throw down a meat farm. Yep, there it is. Nothing terribly crazy. Just one imp mining Therium at the 1.5 minute mark. And we've gotten a bunch of, I want to say, undocumented visual upgrades in this latest patch. I don't know if it was with the holiday hotfix or with 0.2.0, just because of how close they were together, but I want to say it was 0.2.0. So far, some of the visual upgrades that we've noticed are that infernal structures will catch on fire after they've taken enough damage. Before, they used to just like have a bunch of glowing red cracks and that was it. But now I guess they actually like catch on fire. A couple of fiends, gonna force out a Sovereign's Watch, which is nice just to keep down the amount of energy that Aureil has available down a little bit. Speaking of, Aureil's got so many. He's got a couple of or had anyway, a couple of creation chambers going down, but he knows that there's a bunch of gaunts and a hexen and some fiends on his doorstep, so he's gonna cancel one of those just to get another Argent on the way. And it is on the way. We don't see any upgrade structures just yet, just a second arc ship. Meanwhile, the natural for Control is already down, and we do see a single vault and a single conclave, so yeah, everything's working just fine for minute 3 of the game. Doesn't quite get this collection array. That's fine. By the way, those, let's see here. Yeah, so we're up to 3 Argents now, which is still not that much for this many Gaunts and Brutes. I mean, the Brutes will go down fast enough, but it almost seems like it's an interesting decision point for a Celestial player to be in, where it's like, do you want to... Would you rather be spending the energy from your Argents on taking out the Brutes that are, you know, you're going to get bonus damage on the Brutes, or do you want to be targeting down the Gaunts, who are going to be doing that backline damage and infesting after a little while. Speaking of, Ritual Chamber's about 3/4 done, so we are going to be seeing Plague Axes here eventually, and the Argent number is starting to climb up a fair bit. Hey, Filibuster, welcome, welcome. You're welcome to join in if you want to chime in. This is going to be a couch cast, so feel free to hop into the voice chat if you want to. All right, and Control is definitely dominating the map's creep camps. Interesting though that I was just about to say interesting that he hasn't taken this passive Luminite camp just yet. But as I say that, here comes the parade of Brutes and Gaunts and the one Hexen. Moving on forward. Now we see Plague Axis starting up, and the fight for the middle is also starting on. All right, one of the cleavers goes down. Bruiser. It always surprises me how much... Yeah, and the skull, again, explodes on nothing. I really hope that gets fixed eventually, that, like, if the target goes down, it needs to reprioritize or cancel the attack or something. And I want to say it's unique in that sense that, like, there's no other attack, like, there's no auto attacks or any other spells that will, like, go after a unit after it's dead. Yeah, I don't know what causes that. But anyway, we are going to see one Argent doing his absolute best to take down this shrine, but the third of Control is going to go down. Losing that one Argent isn't really that impactful, but knowing that the Shrine went down and knowing what the timing on it is going to be nice. The trouble is capitalizing on it. The fact that he knows that there's three, and it is kind of difficult for a player to defend a triangle of bases. The 1, 2, 3 is, you know, if an army shows up here, you can't defend like both your expansions at once. But the trouble for that is that for an attacker, you're not going to be able to send, or at least not quickly anyway, you're not going to be able to quickly send a force like through this little back door, this light forestation, as well as harassing this harassing the natural. Anyway, we are going to see, okay, Reaper's Rush is on the way. We do see 2 Conclaves and a Twilight out, which is nice. He hasn't spent his Twilight charges yet. You can tell because there are no flames inside of the skull here. And I do want to catch it when it builds something, because we've been discussing the visual effects on the Twilight Spire and on infernal buildings in general in the Discord quite a bit, and I want to catch it. Apparently, I think the more charges it has, the lower it is. I forget what the actual theory is, but it's supposed to be that as you use charges, the height of the skull is supposed to go up or down, respectively. Anyway, despite all that, we are going to see this health camp fall, and everything's going to get turned into a fiend. And still nothing yet from the... Oh, we're going to see a Purify going down here. We're going to see some Cabal and the Argents taking out that third quite effectively, and the Kree front line are going to be able to screen a little bit, but I don't know that this is a fight. Yeah, there's just not enough of a front line here from control. We do see a Nightfall Infestation go down. It only gets 3 or 4 of the Argents over there, but yeah, seeing as how there's not much of a front line to tank all these anti-light hits from the Kree, these Gaunts are very vulnerable right now. Really not much in the way of a front line to speak of. There we go. Okay, so now things are starting to get ordered again. All these Gaunts are on Shroud, so they are going to be infesting everything, and every single kill that they get turns into a fiend. And they are going to be able to chase Aureil's force all the way back home. Aureil is still ahead in supply just by a little bit, but very much behind in terms of economy. I think... Okay, we just saw a huge dip in the numbers, in the resource numbers for control, but I don't see where that would have been built. Maybe it was just a bunch of oh, it was his shrine getting rebuilt. Okay, let's go back here. Do we see anything upgrading? No, we don't see the photocapacitors upgrade on the Argents just yet, but we do see rollout on the Kree. And no Radiant Fury on them yet. Another power bank going down, and holy creation chambers. He's got the production going. Meanwhile, control here in the south. He's going to be going for some aggression. Yeah, I was about to say, there's no way he's not taking these Shadow Mastiffs first. Just wants to plus up on a couple of fiends before he continues his assault. No, he's going to turn around. He's going to turn around and not grab the camp here. I think the point behind that is while he is sacrificing the global passive that he would get by taking this camp, he's also not cluing in his opponent that, like, he's not going to sit here and babysit this camp. I think that's one of the things that maybe Frost Giant was hoping would happen, was that once people captured a camp that they would actually defend it, but it doesn't really seem to be the case lately. People just like show up, get the bounty from the creeps, and then leave. And like as long as they can hold on to the passive buff, like that's fine. But yeah, I get the sense that people don't really like want to hang on to the passive buff. One lonely Kree isn't long for this world. And we're going to see a fourth going down here by the double Therium for control. With a farm and a Shroud Stone as well. Which would be nice. Because, yeah, getting a... Not that he needs it, though. Holy resources, man. What are you waiting for? Spend, spend, spend. Oh, he might be wanting to bank resources for a dragon. He just doesn't have the Animus for it yet. That might be another reason. You know what? I'm surprised he doesn't want to take an engagement right now. I know he doesn't want to throw away. You never want to just like throw away supply if you have it, and definitely like make a good, you know, spend your supply well. But really, like, how else is he going to get the dragon on the field? I don't think he is. We do see a bunch of Weavers come out and a single Hellborn, which would be nice if he's facing an Argent Ball, which, you know, Aureil doesn't really have much of an Argent presence left in his army. He's got a couple of hangers on, but it's mostly Kree and Saber now. And a couple of Token Cabal, but I think that'll actually be... I think those Cabal would be more helpful if there were Spriggans, but we don't see any Spriggans on the map just yet. Do we see... Yeah, there's still, like... We still haven't seen anything come out of the Twilight Spire yet. Now the fight's gonna go down. Oh, so many Gaunts getting... Oh, wow, the Kree don't... They decided not to connect on all those Gaunts, which is fine. One Saber gets lashed, but that Weaver that was too far forward gets burst down. So many Kree going down. The bouncing axes are doing the best they can to make short work of these Kree, which are lightly armored. Again, more Sabers get pulled to the front line and then quickly burst down by the Gaunts. But the Weavers are starting to fall, and I think we see one Weaver reinforcing from the back line, but it's got to use a lash or something. There's the lash. Another Saber going down, and these Sabers are not a good pairing against the Gaunts. Granted, the longer they're there, they still do fantastic single target damage, but against lightly armored targets, they're not the best. And with Reaper's Rush, Control is able to continue the chase if he so chooses. Man, those Hellborn just landing shots from afar are going to be a fantastic matchup here. The Kree, though, so an interesting interaction is going on here. As the Kree go down, they spawn Fiends, which is no surprise to anyone, but that Fiend is then the target for the Kree. That's, you know, it's the closest thing that any reinforcing Kree are going to attack, and that means that the Gaunts continue to stay like relatively unharmed for the most part. Control's Dragon does show up in time to take out all the infrastructure of Aureil, and I don't see much else in terms of army supply. We see a couple of Sabers and a couple of Kree. That being said, Control's army is also like kind of small right now. I don't know that he wants to chill underneath this the Sovereign's watch, but he does want to press his advantage. Dragon moving on forward now that he knows that there's really nothing that the Sabers can do. Man, that Dragon's just sitting there tanking all this Sovereign's watch damage though. Oh no! Arc ship goes down, and now we're well into the red power here. Dragon managed to grab a cabbage on its retreat from the sides here. He's gonna grab another one. Yeah, cabbage o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. I do keep like half joking that one of these days I'm gonna have a cabbage counter on the on my overlay here, but I just need to. Really, the only thing that's stopping me is I need to find a good vector of the cabbage, and I've looked on Liquipedia, and I can't seem to find one, and my Photoshop skills are non-existent. But I think after today's cast, I'm going to try and get it. Aureil asking if Control has the base in the top left. Responds with yes. And there's the GG from Aureil. Alright, that'll be it for game 1. Control going to go up by 1 in this best of 5. So let's move on. Alright guys, here we are, game 2 of the Aureil Stormgate Invitational quarterfinals. And Control is up by 1 right now. He managed to take the first map off of Aureil on Titan's Causeway. And he's not hiding his arc ship this time around. Aureil is not, which I find pretty interesting that he did that on Titans to begin with. But anyway, pretty stock standard stuff out of Control. We're going to see... Oh, interesting that we see a vault going down as well. Granted, this is a much smaller map, so you do want more supply worth of aggression out on the map earlier. Yeah, Yeah, and it's the immediate 2 gaunts, and the Hexen teleports home, so he can start creeping as quickly as possible. Now, is he going to do the gaunt split thing? Looks like he is. Now, that gaunt needs to be, like, right down here. Oh, there we go. That's fine. Sometimes you see 2 slimes attacking this gaunt, when really it needs to be... The front 3 need to be attacking the Hexen, and then the 2 on the side need to be attacking the gaunts. But it all worked out. Meanwhile, back over here for Aureil, we see... Alright, he's not grabbing this camp yet, but that's just because the production for Celestial takes a little bit longer to come up. I guess he could use... yeah, he's using Sovereign's Watch to... No! The Shadow Masters are going the wrong way around, so now the Sovereign's Watch isn't going to be as useful. We do see a telegraphed attack here from one of the dogs. Doesn't go down. Wow. 4 of the 5 dogs live. Yeah, and he's doing his best to deny... Control's doing his best to deny the creep camps here for Aureil, and he does. He manages to get 3 out of the 5 for the bounty, and picks up the buff. Man, Control with the aggression here. Yeah, alright, we see a Surge Creation Chamber trying to get an Argent out as quickly as possible. The array is very low, but it is going to survive. Morph Core comes out, and is it going to get... Oh, it turns into a power bank as quickly as possible. Alright, we do see one Argent out on the map, and he's going to be taking shots on... Oh, is he going to be able to get the one gaunt? He does! Yay! And another Creation Chamber gets used, gets created by that low health Morph Core. The drawback, though, is that he did lose a power bank, so that's kind of painful. I would almost think that you could use a Sovereign... He didn't use 3 Sovereign's Watches, right? And he certainly got the energy. I wonder if a Sovereign's Watch on this Creation Chamber would have helped him out a bunch, just in shoving away the Infernal Force and maybe doing some damage. For those of you that are watching in the future, at this point in time, you can't control where the Sovereign's Watch is shooting. It just kind of auto-targets based on priority. But there have been people in the community that have been asking for control over where the Sovereign's Watch shoots, which I don't have a problem with, actually. Like, it's its own little thing. It like hovers over a building. It should be controllable. I think that would add a lot more skill expression to the game. Just making sure that it's like, hey, it's not something that's just on autopilot for a user. Like, it can be at first, and then it can auto-select priority from there, but if it could be manually controlled as well, I think that would add a lot more to how people want to play the game. 6 of these Argents, though, are very low on energy, and they are going to chase. But 6 Argents versus this comp, I don't know that they do the best with low energy, but they chase for so long that a lot of their energy regenerated, so they're going to be fine. Checking back on the bases here, we're going to see Control with his natural almost, more than halfway saturated here. And Plague X just finishes up, so we are going to see a lot more Fiends out on the map here soon, which is going to be helpful, especially against all these Argents that are going to be wasting so many charge shots on just the piddly little Fiends. Alright, we're going to see the Guardian Nexus just starting up here. Starforge going down as well. I wonder if this is going to be Vector. He saw so many, such a gaunt-heavy composition that I think a Vector... Having some Vectors that get, they don't have to close range and then get absolutely swamped by DPS density in order to start doing some of the anti-light damage themselves. But we'll see. It's only a single Starforge. We did see the Guardian Nexus just get thrown down, so probably not. Actually, I know for a fact it won't be, just because, well, besides that, We didn't see an Ascension Matrix going down, which you almost have to have to research the recall ability for the vectors, just to get them out of hot water after they teleport in. All right, all the Argents are going to come forward, and they want to contest, but oh, huge connection! Oh, but we see a Purify going down immediately afterwards, and yeah, those Argents are going to stay charged up, and they're going to stay infestation free, which is really great, except for that guy, and everything else is getting hit by these gaunts that are on Shroud. Everything is going to get infested. Yeah, and then everything is going to... No, not everything's going to get turned into a Fiend as long as they stand inside of that Purify field. But it doesn't last forever. But the Plague X is due. So eventually the Purify field goes away. The last Argent goes down. And now these Sabres are super vulnerable. And they need to leave. Oh no, Aureil's down into red power. He needs reinforcements so badly. He's only got these 3 Sabres, which are fine as backline units, but they're the ones that are taking damage right now. Looks like they are going to be able to chase away the 2 remaining Gaunts and the 1 Hexen, but that was a lot of losses to take for Aureil there. Well, I say that, but Aureil's firmly ahead in supply. He's just super in like a super energy deficit right now, power deficit. Now the power bank getting warped in. Oh man, another Starforge going down as well. This is a lot of Starforges for just for Sabres. I think it's really just the tier 1 units that he's missing a lot of. And creeping with Sabres is kind of the state of where the Celestial's at right now. It's kind of rough, but oh. And the one hit for that last Shadow Mastiff goes to Control. Control, in the meanwhile, has already gone over to a 3rd, and I don't think we only see 1. All right, we do see 1, 2, 3 arrays over here for Aureil. No 4th. So 3 array Celestial versus 3 base Infernal is pretty Infernal favored. We are going to see a couple of Weavers come out as well, which would be nice. And Control has really closed the gap in terms of army supply. I think all that extra resourcing is helping out a ton. Oh, and because he asked Control in game 1, hey, did you take top left? And Control was like, yep. Or excuse me, Control rather said that he took top left, so he wants to see if Aureil's expanded out in that direction, which he has not. But yeah, we'll see what that means. I think that getting the eco up and running, man, this is a lot of Starforges. Is this really all for Sabres? There really doesn't seem... Okay, so we do see a couple of Kree out. And let's see, they've got to have rollout. Yep, they've got rollout. We don't see photocapacitors out for Argents, but I think the time of the Argents is over. They are kind of done at this point. They're just not going to do enough damage to the Gaunts. There's not enough heavily armored units. Yeah, and the 3 Weavers don't want to get caught out at the alone next to all these Sabres. But in a supporting role, when they can lash all the Sabres in the world and bring them kind of back to the, do the Scorpion, get over here. Oh no, another one gets yoinked, another one gets yoinked, but these, the Weavers are falling pretty quickly as well, despite being light tagged, and despite yoinking as much as they do. That's still a lot of Sabres that are still alive, but they know that they're slow, they know they're going to be vulnerable, so they need to retreat. The Mass Accelerator boost, or whatever it's called, doesn't last long enough, and there's the... Okay, so we do see a couple of vectors out on the map finally, but it's a little bit too late. I think these the Gaunts are just going to pick them all apart, and the Hellborn are actually a pretty good counter against them as well. It doesn't matter if they jump in, then jump right out immediately. They, yeah, there's the GG from Aureil, but Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I like using Hellborn as a counter to the Vectors if it's later on in the game, just because they could jump around all they want, but once this shot is charged up, it's gonna shoot. I love the effects on that fireball, by the way. Anyway, yeah, on to the next game. All right. All right, guys, here we are in game 3 on Jagged Maw, which is not in the ladder pool, but it is in the tournament pool. And so the only restriction, I believe, on this map for the tournament is that there's no Morph Core rushes allowed. Just because doing a Morph Core rush from here to here is kind of like it's anti-fun, I want to say. I think we saw this in the Tasteless Showdown tournament months ago, and it ended up being like in a CVC, it was just Morph Cores attacking Morph Cores and Arc Ships, and it was it went about as well as you imagine it would. Just it was just a big water balloon fight. Pardon me, guys. I am still getting over the flu a little bit, which knocked me out last week, and still got a little bit of a cough, so we're bouncing back from that, but it's all good. We'll be all right. Okay, so control just creeping around. Nothing too earth-shattering there. I am seeing more of the control is favoring the one conclave, one vault opener a lot, and I wonder if that's just because of the map size, that he wants to get army supply out on the map earlier, or not. Okay, let's see here. Again, we were not to focus too much on the Infernal player, but we were discussing the visual indicators on structures earlier in the Discord, and I want to see what happens here. Yeah, it didn't. He's very much got a pulse on when his charges come back, so I don't think that we'll ever not see the light show. For those of you that aren't familiar, the buildings get more animated, and they look, like the torches light up, and you see the pillars of light coming out from the side of the iron vault, and the blood starts flowing, and there's blood in the pool of the infernal structure. That all happens when there are no charges left on the structure. And I and a couple other people agree that having the structure look more in... Oh no, is the first array going to go down? Yeah, it started taking off way too late. First array goes down. That's a bit of a tough loss there for Aureil. But is he going to take... Okay, so he's already got one array over here, so it's not too bad. He's still on 3? Yeah, still on 3 arrays. And, oh no, this Morph Core is going to be in trouble. Maybe not. He's got enough Luminite to make it into something, but it doesn't. It just gets killed. And he's got so much energy. Where's the... Maybe a Sovereign's Watch would be good? There it is. Alright, one Gaunt goes down, and he's got a lot more DPS out now. And killing that one power bank would mean a lot more if the power's a lot lower, but it's not. And he's still on green energy after after that attack. You know what? I wonder if that's going to be some next level mind games eventually, where people use their arc ship to mask that Sovereign's Watch has gone down. Like, you'll still see the beam, but not seeing that little floating diamond, I think is a it plays an interesting trick on my brain anyway. If I don't see that floating diamond, I won't I'll think like, oh man, where's the which structure is the Sovereign's Watch coming from? A couple of Star Forges going down. We don't see any tech buildings yet. It's just pure production here. And I think that Morph Core is going to get turned into an array soon. But I don't think he has enough vision on the map to safely take this next Luminite mine. So he might be a little worried here. He's sending out this one lonely Argent on his own way. to scout. Come on. Or is he just going to chill there? There you go. Get the cabbage. Okay, and now the game's going to settle back down a little bit. Control's just going to keep on patrolling down here and putting a third base down right in between the Luminite and all that Therium. I would imagine maybe eventually you want to put a base like right here just to mine the double Therium, but shrines aren't cheap, and there's no like Therium return point structure for the Infernals. So they not only do they not have a Therium a Therium return structure, but they're also like the most Therium dependent race of the three so far. So I wonder if we're gonna see one added on later. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. The green of the Hexen staff reflecting off of the red rocks had a cool little effect. I don't know. Or maybe it's the fact that like it barely shows up in daylight. Like you can kind of see the green glow, but once he steps into the shadows, like it affects the shadows differently than it affects, or it's much more apparent in the shadows than it is. Oh man, that bruiser almost wiped out that Hexen. And not that it matters all that much. Yeah, we do see Plague Axes are out. And the V5 rocket launcher from the siege camp is going to get sent, but not with much else. Okay, the Ascension Matrix and the Guardian Nexus are both going down at the same time. This will be very interesting. Just because Ascension Matrix usually means one of two things. It either means he's going to upgrade to the Jesus House and start using Fate's End to just mow down command structures, or it means that the recall upgrade is going to get started for Vectors, and then Vectors are just going to start being out on the map, blinking around, doing a bunch of hit and runs on worker lines. But yeah, it seems like both players are very happy to just chill for the moment. All right, Ascension Matrix finished. Do I see an upgrade? Do I see an upgrade? Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, both players just seem more than happy to just hang out on their own sides of the map. Control, being way more mobile, is capitalizing on that to take all of these camps. Really just harvesting them. Well, I was about to say not necessarily for the camp themselves, but this Therium is going to be huge for them. And now we're going to see, there you go. Yeah, here's recall being researched. So we are going to see Vectors here pretty soon. But yeah, Control, I don't know why Control's army looks just so much bigger to me on the map than Aureil's does. There we go. Yeah, making sure that he's keeping his army on Shroud just to regenerate that white health, and on top of the health camp, no less. Okay, now you see, yeah, the Weavers see a couple, something is rotten in Denver. Two Sabers get yoinked forward, and they are going to get burst down. Oh, the V5 rocket launcher's here to escort, though, and it's going to be doing huge AoE damage, especially on the... Oh, look at these shots! Fantastic shots from the V5. These Sabers are doing their best, but, again, because their AoE is a little bit odd in that it's a T-shape. You can almost see, like, in the after image here that it, whenever a shot lands, it makes, like, a T. It's not, like, a perfectly circular explosion pattern. Man, that V5 is getting so much work done. Will it be enough, though? I don't think so. Oh, well. It's pretty evenly matched here, actually. Boom! Yeah, the V5 getting so much work done on these gaunts. The Sabers are a bad matchup against the Weavers, though. It might be better if he keeps that Weaver on Shroud just so it's constantly regenerating. There we go. Keep it on Shroud. Keep it on Shroud. Does he have enough for a yoink? No, he doesn't. So he's going to pull back and regenerate a bunch of his army. And Aureil. Aureil floating quite a bit of Therium. And he's so far behind in supply, too. Not just, hey, you need more supply, but also in like, remaxing potential. It's going to be kind of rough. We do see the Vectors finally out on the map. There's only 3 of them, though, and 3 Vectors versus this whole, like, mob of Gaunts. Does not bode well for Aureil. Oh, and now that as of the holiday hotfix, the vectors no longer regenerate health when they use their recall ability, so they're a lot more fragile now, which honestly needed to happen. The fact that they like instantly healed back to whatever their health was before they teleported before this was just way too strong. It was almost literally a like the Control Z undo button for damage for the vectors. Now, did that nerf swing too hard? Maybe, we'll see. I would have been fine with like a slow regen after they get back, or like if they recall their movement speed is crippled by a little bit and they have to regen or something like that, and not just straight up removing it from the game. But I'm glad that Frost Giant is very willing to experiment with all that stuff. It's nice to see that they're not so set in how a unit works that they're not willing to make some big changes on it. There we go. Now every time these Weavers have a huge swing and they connect for like hundreds of damage, it's always satisfying to see. But Control's army, 50 supply ahead, and not ahead in terms of resourcing necessarily, but it's not going to matter all that much, I don't think. Yeah, I think this is Aureil's army right here. Is 5 sabers and an Argent. It's oh, and he's down to the negative energy again. Man, that's brutal. Yeah, and he's gonna have to scoot on back home. And actually, yeah, this health camp's a fantastic place for his sabers to camp out, just to you know, he can keep his enemies at a distance and constantly be healing as well. But Control, I mean, look at how much of the map Control has already taken. He's putting down a shrine next to the double Luminite. He's already got a shrine down here by the double Therium. It's really Control's game to lose here, and he's got so many resources. In fact, he's about to get supply blocked here pretty soon if he doesn't build more meat farms. Where's the dragon? Are we going to see a dragon anytime soon? We do see... Okay, the Hellforge is out. There we go. Oh, we're going to see Spriggan's out soon. Interesting. Alright, so it's the Binding Saliva upgrade to bring the max. Is it just on structures? No, it's not. It's for everything. Okay, so the way that Binding Saliva works is that it slows movement speed as well as attack speed, if I recall correctly. But it has to stack up to get there. It's not just a single attack application. But it typically maxes out at 30% reduction, but with that upgrade it's going to max out at 60% reduction, which is just absolutely terrifying. There's the dragon. The dragon's going to use his putrid breath on all of these sabers, and yeah, it's just a giant saber party. No anti-air available, and yeah, it's just saber after saber. It's going to get lashed in. Do you see a Sovereign's Watch getting thrown down and targeting the dragon? Hexen's going to go down. Not that it matters all that much. We're going to see the global shroud going down. Lashes on lashes. Yeah, and then we see another. I mean, there's a token Hellborn in there just to make it more of a box art army, just to show that, yeah, I can make everything. And that's it. Control 3-0's Aureil out of his own tournament. GG's. Good games, guys.